Welcome to the Feel Better, Be Better show. Today, Kate and Nevada will answer your questions and introduce new topics designed to help feel better and be better. These are raw conversations, but they will make a difference.
Let's see here. We just followed up. What did we do first? Trying new things.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one we came back and talked about how do you become a master at it through repetition.
Mm-hmm.
See, and you thought I wasn't paying attention.
I know. Doubted you.
So we go over all the important reasons of why to basically do repetition so you become a master at what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see here. So we just covered trying something new.
Mm-hmm.
I want to flow into repetition because you're not going to be able to get to like positive, like you're good at something until you can get into doing the repetitions to get to that level. So do you have anything relating to that topic you want to go over real quick?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is we just see it all the time. So we've got girls who come in new to our program and they'll do off-season hitting, and the ones that choose to do and the ones that don't. You just see a noticeable jump in the ones that show up there. Even the ones that don't try very hard and don't listen very well, just because they do so many more swings versus someone doing no swings, and then they come into season and they're just from seeing the ball are better. Those that listen are even better than that. But I mean, it's just night and day, the difference that you see just from merely having the repetition.
Yeah, I think of when I was a kid, and I mean, I'd always get in trouble for throwing the ball against the wall, probably inside the house, probably a hard ball too. I mean, yeah, I wasn't exactly the easiest kid. And then or kicking it against the wall or something like that, just constantly doing more and more and more. Anyway, all of that repetition over and over and over again, you don't think anything about it. As a kid, I'm just playing, I'm just throwing, I'm just kicking, I'm just doing the things that you would do. But now as I'm older, now I'm doing that stuff because it's helped building my strength and giving the feel and having the thing and having the ability to really know how everything works. So I'm getting my throw back by basically that release point on a regular basis, knowing where it's going and being comfortable with it. Mm-hmm. Building up the muscles around my shoulders so it doesn't hurt near as much anymore. Think of it in a swing scenario that we constantly are huge on, like, no, just give me 10. Just give me 10 swings a night. You don't have to hit anything, just give me 10 swings. And none even if they're hard, just give me the motion. Because your body remembers that motion, it making shortcuts in your brain constantly on what you're trying to do. So that is what muscle memory is that you're basically building that shortcut for your body so that it can maximize what you want it to do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it makes its own.
Yeah.
And so you kind of got to look at what is the repetitions that we want to get and how do we want to incorporate that.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to set up plenty of like, hey, you can come an hour here with some of the other girls as cheap as we can to make it work. We're not necessarily looking into having specific one-on-one coaching and deep dives and let's get you tweaks here and doing this and hitting there. And we're kind of going like, let's just get the repetitions. And we're trying to make sure we're in the right spot. We don't want to mess it up, but we're not necessarily looking to make every swing perfect.
But we do tweak accordingly.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I think the thing too that you take major granted when you're younger is you have so many times when you're practicing or friends want to go or siblings want to go out and do sports related things that you have the opportunity to get repetition in. And, I remember playing through college and you kind of take it for granted, but now when you're playing slow pitch, once a week and you don't really practice in between and you get 3 at bats in a game, I mean, you notice more, I notice more when I haven't hit much coming into a season versus when we are doing hitting with the girls are on our own and then you come in, just the timing, just feeling comfortable and confident with my swing. And we've been doing this for so many years, the muscle memory is there. The muscle memory isn't gone. It's just that upkeep of that repetition and seeing the ball.
Yeah. I mean, you have that. And it's just something in the familiar. As long as you're doing it more regular, it's less jarring to you. You're less paying attention to it. It's more old hand. You're able to keep just moving. I think too about one of the biggest ones that we never focus on is as we get older, we're like, oh, we're out of shape, got extra weight and everything like that. And you're like, metabolism, or just, I'm just getting older or something like that. But I mean, man, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I was doing something every day. And as an adult, I'm not. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of times I'm like, I should probably, go up and down the stairs once today so I actually do some, moderate workout.
Yeah.
And then I don't think you realize how much of that activity you miss out of when you're doing that. So we just set up as much as we can to give the kids the opportunity to come try, do whatever extra repetitions they want. We're trying to expand into other sports. So that way that you can hone on mold of your different things that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we're focused on in sports. But I mean, you get the same thing in anything you do. I mean, if you're, wanting to be the best public speaker, you're going to need to be doing more public speaking. You're not just going to be able to read a book or check out some articles or something like that. You're going to have to stand in front of your phone and record yourself and see, oh, I need to make sure I don't use my hands so much. Not that I'm making fun of myself at all.
You even think about the people who have better vocabulary and can read and write better, usually read a lot.
Or write a lot.
Or write a lot because they see those words all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and they pick up new words all the time. If you don't read, you're not going to pick up new words.
Or they can have word a day toilet paper.
But you're going to learn more if you have more than one word on a piece of paper.
Sure, probably. Yeah. No, it's amazing how much it goes over into real life. And we talked a little bit about the 10,000 hour rule that Malcolm Gladwell came up with, which, I mean, the biggest dispute that they had on that is that certain people don't need 10,000 hours. Some people are more apt on certain things. And so that was the only argument they had. They weren't necessarily saying that you didn't need the repetition. So some people don't need that much repetition. Mm-hmm. Some people need more and some people need less. So what they're also saying in there is that, but still everybody needs about 8,000 hours if they want to become a master of whatever thing they're working at. Even if you're really good at it. So what that's saying though is that you still need that repetition. I think of it too of like, for me, if I'm going to go like fix something or whatever, and I need a hammer or something, I hammer a nail into something or like that, it's going to take me quite a few swings. It's going to take me quite a few times. I'm probably going to bend a nail or two. Kyle, probably walk up, put the nail in, do it like 3 times, and boom, it's going to be done. But that's what he does all day. Mm-hmm. There's the repetition for him. I mean, prime example for me, you got something on your computer and, an Excel spreadsheet and you're having troubles with it. I can probably break it down real fast. If somebody else, like Kyle, maybe like, it's hard. I mean, he doesn't sit there and have to do that stuff all day long. He's outside working on hammers and stuff. So the repetition, we really miss out on how much of that is done in our everyday lives. I think of a lot of like when you're driving to work, you're driving home. I mean, how many times do you get there and you don't even remember what you did? Because you just basically, did I even stop at that stoplight? Did I turn my signal on? Did I actually do whatever? You're almost on autopilot because you've done it so long. It is your repetition.
Yeah. How many times you leave your house? Did I shut the garage door? Did I lock the front door?
Well, you see me do it a billion times. You're like, why do you always check the lock on me? I'm like, it's not you, it's me. I'm literally making sure that I didn't leave and it was locked. Because I don't trust myself. I've forgotten too many times. Mm-hmm. So I mean that's repetition. I've forgotten enough times and now I'm making sure I do it. But it's also repetition, the fact that I've done it so often that I don't even think about doing it. Same thing works for sports, same thing works for work, same thing works for study, reading, vocabulary, all that stuff. So how can you squeeze in little repetitions here and there to be able to make it to where it's not like you're really having to go, I got to go do my repetition.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to focus in on. All right, so do we want to like go back and like repeat the entire story real quick to make sure we get on all our repetitions?
No, I think we're good.
Think we're fine?
Yes.
Okay, well then we'll call this a wrap.
Thank you for watching Kate in Nevada. Hope you've enjoyed this show and found it useful and empowering. If you have any questions or comments, please contact them at Kinetics.com. That's KNETICX.com. They're on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well. And please write a review of the show. Kate in Nevada appreciate hearing the feedback, and they welcome your reviews, and your word of mouth will help others learn how to feel better and be better.